This book is called the Word of God. It's sworn upon in courts. Empires were built on it for ages. Millions died and killed for it. But what if behind these sacred lines hides not divine revelation, but the most massive project to control humanity? I am not here to tell you another fairy tale. What you will hear is the result of my most thorough fact-checking. I am not asking you to just take my word for it. Each of you has direct access to the sources I'm going to tell you about. If, that is, you happen to know precisely where to look. Today, I will present to you only the unadorned facts, which have begun to surface after more than 1700 years of carefully guarded silence. We will strip the gilding from the cover and delve into the true history that has been hidden from us for centuries.
Have you ever wondered why the most important book of humanity contains so many contradictions? Why were some texts included within it, while others were declared heresy and burned? Today, we will conduct an investigation spanning 2000 years. We will not rely on faith, but on archival documents, archaeological finds, and textual analysis. I will show you how political interests and lust for power layer by layer replaced living knowledge with convenient lies. We will examine what was hidden from us until 325 AD, what happened at the council itself, and how falsifications continued centuries later. I ask about this because these thoughts gave me no peace for a very long time. Based on facts archaeologists found and what's been hidden for decades in Vatican archives, believe me, I have a lot to tell you. Get comfortable. My hair literally stood on end when I learned the truth about the so-called Holy Book. Until 325 AD, the world existed in a completely different reality. There was no Christianity as a dictator's religion. There was a vast space of knowledge. Facts confirm, people read more than 30 different gospels. They weren't tales of miracles, but profound instructions for energy work, consciousness, and reaching the higher self. Across the globe, people drew wisdom from 30 sources, needing no intermediaries in golden robes. These were the vibrations of the 4D matrix: freedom, unity, and personal responsibility. Before the year 325, the world knew a different Jesus. He was not a character from a fairy tale, requiring adoration. He was a great master who taught the truth about the structure of our reality. The facts confirm this. His authentic teachings were documented in over 30 different sources. Jesus did not construct temples of stone. Instead, he provided direct instructions on how to awaken one's inner energy and connect with the higher self. These were the vibrations of a four-dimensional matrix. He openly declared, God resides within you, implying that every single human being is a conduit for divine light. The 30 Gospels were 30 practical lessons on how to become a free creator of your own life. What exactly was contained within those 30 books that the 3D matrix so fiercely destroyed? These were not mere stories of external miracles. Rather, they were applied knowledge concerning our DNA. They detailed technologies for working within a light, methods of healing through vibrations, and ways to control reality with the sheer power of thought. In these texts, Jesus explained how to escape the influence of fear and need programs. This was the science of transitioning into 4D space. They left us a tale of water turned to wine, but hid the knowledge of how to turn our biological cell into a light bearer. In 30 sources, the formula for the immortality of consciousness was held, which they replaced with the dogma of death and resurrection in the distant future. Look at the names of those whose testimonies were declared dangerous. These were the closest disciples who saw the truth with their own eyes. St. Thomas wrote that the kingdom is within us and all around us, not merely in buildings of wood and stone. St. Philip revealed the mystery of the sacred union of male and female energy as the true key to wholeness. Mary Magdalene, whom the three-dimensional matrix sought to demean, was in fact the principal disciple, preserving the most profound wisdom of the heart. Each of them left their unique code, their own piece of the collective mosaic. These holy figures did not ask us to suffer or to repent, they simply urged us to awaken. But in 325, their living voices were replaced with filtered retellings. Instead of 30 direct eyewitness accounts, we got 4 edited versions, where all mentions of a person's personal power were erased. Why was the system so afraid of these texts? Because the saints, in their 30 books, unanimously declared intermediaries are not needed. The connection to the Creator is a direct line. If they had acknowledged these truths as valid, the 3D empire would have lost its power over humanity, so they chose the path of a purge. They only left what keeps people in the fifth dimension's vibrations of division and struggle. Living masters who taught us to fly, saints were turned into martyrs, whose main virtue is suffering. This is the greatest deception in history, which has lasted for over 1700 years. In the official version, Mary was presented as a humble figure, but the hidden texts, those 30 sources, tell a different story. Maria was a master of the highest initiation. Her vibrational level was beyond an ordinary human's reach, from 20,000 and above. She was not merely a biological mother, she was a biological portal. For a spirit of such power as Jesus to enter the dense world of the 3D matrix, matter had to vibrate at a colossal frequency. In ancient texts, not included in the Bible, it is described that Mary from childhood was taught practices of light manipulation. Her body was prepared as a perfect resonator. In the 4D matrix, female energy is a creative force, and Mary was its main earthly manifestation, possessing a frequency capable of transforming the very structure of reality. What did Jesus speak about in those 30 books the empire declared dangerous? He taught not religion, but the biology of light. First, he taught that every person has a direct connection to their higher self. In the Gospel of Thomas, he explicitly states, "When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known." This was a direct instruction for activating your light body. Secondly, he imparted very specific healing techniques. What today we call abdominal harmony, or working with bioenergy, was fundamental knowledge of his school. He explained how through the power of sound and vibrational frequencies, and by rejecting the dense lower energies of the 3D matrix, a person could effectively reprogram their very selves. Thirdly, he was transmitting the profound code of 369. This was essentially the science that revealed how numbers and specific sound waves exert control over all matter. And Jesus demonstrated how one could transcend and break free from the pervasive influence of programs rooted in fear and scarcity. His teachings were a technology of freedom, rather than a religion of mere obedience. He did not come so that people would die for him, but rather for them to learn how to live at the Creator's frequency, the most profoundly forbidden knowledge, which was contained within those 30 books. This knowledge reveals that there is no actual death, but merely a shift in density. Jesus, through his own personal example, demonstrated the process of transitioning from a 3D to a 4D reality. He taught that faith is not blind trust, but rather an understanding of the laws of energy. It was these very instructions that were replaced in the year 325 with mere tales of miracles. Instead of providing humanity with the tools for their own spiritual ascension, the system left them with nothing but the expectation of a savior. However, the true Jesus and his mother Mary bequeathed to us the keys to our inherent power. Now, it is time to reclaim these 30 sacred sources and truly remember who we are. In the canonical Bible, we are told to wait for salvation, but in the Gospel of Thomas, one of the 30 excluded texts, Jesus says something entirely different. A direct quote, "If those who lead you say to you, 'Look, the kingdom is in heaven,' then the birds of the air will precede you, but the kingdom is within you and outside you." This is the foundation of the 4D matrix. Jesus explained that God is not some grandpa on a cloud, but a quantum field of consciousness in which we all exist. He taught that when you know yourself, you will understand that you are this field. In 325 AD, this knowledge was replaced with external rituals, so that man would never look inside his DNA where the Creator's code is recorded. The system hid from us that Jesus was the greatest healer who knew everything about the purity of the body. In the Gospel of Peace of the Essenes, he gives clear instructions on nutrition and cleansing. He said, "Do not kill human beings, nor any animals, nor even the food that you put into your mouth." Jesus taught that living food and water are the direct carriers of sunlight, which naturally elevate the body's vibrations to a 4D level. He explained that illnesses are energy blockages within the body and taught how through fasting and breathing to restore the body to its original healthy state. The official narrative says not a word about this, because a sick and heavy body is the perfect slave for the 3D matrix. The Gospel of Philip reveals the profound secret of how Jesus was able to control matter. He taught his disciples the science of resonance. He stated that truth did not come into the world in its naked form, but rather it arrived in symbols and in images. This is precisely the key to understanding the 369 code. Jesus knew that absolutely everything in the world is vibration. When he healed or transformed water, he wasn't performing tricks. He simply altered the frequency of matter with his voice and intention. He taught that the word is a program, but in 325 AD, this science was labeled magic and heresy, leaving people only empty requests, devoid of power and understanding of the laws of physics. We must realize, Jesus could not have appeared in a low density. His mother, Mary, was a master who prepared the ground. In hidden texts, her life is described as a continuous practice of holding the light. Her vibrations were above 20,000, which allowed her to communicate with beings from higher planes. Jesus and Mary worked as a pair, embodying the male and female principles, restoring the energy balance on Earth. This was a teaching of wholeness. The 3D matrix divided them. One was made a god, the other a mere servant. But in reality, this was an alliance of two great masters who had come to impart to us the technology for transitioning into a world where there is no suffering and no disease. The official version tells us that Jesus suffered from hunger in the desert. This is the greatest lie of the 3D matrix. In fact, his fast lasted 43 days and it was his greatest triumph. When the body is clean of toxins and impurities, it doesn't know what fatigue is. Jesus walked through the desert and every step he took was filled with immense energy. He wasn't just surviving, he was transitioning to pure light for sustenance. 43 days is the code for the full activation of divine DNA. This state is accessible to all of us. If we clear our bodies of noise and toxins, we can all be like Jesus, for he came to demonstrate our body's potential. But why today do people fear even the thought of a long fast? Because the system, through the church, set up an elaborate trap. Just take a look at the store shelves during the Lenten season. They're offering you Lenten ice cream, cakes and sweets. There is no milk or eggs in them, and you are told that you are clean before the law. But this is the greatest deception. These products are pumped full of tons of sugar and chemicals. Sugar is a biological glue. It enters your cells and literally glues them from the inside, transforming your living organism into a viscous swamp. In such a state, your cells cannot conduct the light of the 4D matrix. This system deliberately feeds you these allowed pleasures so that you feel heaviness and drowsiness, thinking that it's humility. In reality, it's nothing more than a blockage of your energy channels. Jesus didn't consume any sugary, plant-based ice cream. He understood that a truly pure body serves as a conduit, while a sugar-laden, sluggish body is a prison for the spirit, one that would never ascend beyond the frequency of mere survival. Jesus truly understood the secret of genuine purity. He didn't fill his body with carb junk that causes fermentation and heaviness. In those 30 hidden sources, the master taught, the body must be light as air. Potatoes and bread are tools for keeping consciousness in 3D density. They cause a false sense of satiety, which is actually an energetic coma. Jesus walked through the desert for 43 days without a trace of weariness, precisely because his veins lacked this sugary glue. His blood was pure, like light. Look at the church fast today. It's a carbohydrate trap. They make us eat what grounds us, so we never take flight. This fast is a way out of dependence on all types of sugar, including hidden starches. Only when the cell is freed from this glue does it begin to vibrate at a frequency of 20,000 and higher. Only then do you become tireless and strong as the Creator made us. It's important to understand that Jesus came into this world as an ordinary person, just like you and me.
He wasn't born with innate abilities, but became a master through immense effort, years of learning, and profound practices. Thanks to this, his body achieved an incredible level of purity. Herein lies an important biological secret. The need for food directly depends on the internal microflora. The cleaner the organism becomes, the fewer low-frequency microorganisms are left within it, those that literally demand constant external nourishment. Jesus so thoroughly purified his own temple that his physical body ceased to require any coarse food. When the microflora becomes constructive rather than parasitic, a person ceases to be enslaved by metabolic hunger. This was a genuine physical cleansing process, which enabled him to transcend the limitations of the 3D matrix. There is ancient evidence, for example, fragments from the letter of the Gnostic Valentinus, dating back to the 2nd century.
He recorded a truly unique fact. Jesus possessed such profound inner purity that his entire physiology was completely subordinate to his spirit. Valentinus explicitly wrote that Jesus ate and drank in a very special way without ever eliminating waste. Just think about this. Inside his body, no processes of decay or decomposition ever occurred. This is a state of absolute temperance, or enkreteia, where energy is drawn not from mere caloric intake, but directly from the universal source itself. Food consumed within his body would not convert into waste, because his vibrational frequency was so incredibly elevated that all matter would instantly transmute into pure, unadulterated energy. This is indeed the true state of a being, one that is free from destructive programs and pathogenic processes. Later on, the Manichaeans and medieval Cathars continued to uphold and spread this profound knowledge. For them, Jesus was a being of pure light, whose example inspired liberation from the binding shackles of material existence. The Cathars, known as the perfect ones, imitated this state through the practice of endura, striving for complete autonomy from earthly food.
In the Gospel of John, there is a crucial phrase: "I have food to eat that you know nothing about."
Gnostic communities understood this quite literally. This was pneumatic nourishment, the absorption of divine prana. Jesus called upon his disciples to transcend the needs of the flesh, because everything born of matter is temporary, while that which is born of spirit is eternal. Archaeology uncovers remnants of the daily lives of the poor from that time, but this is merely the outer shell. Those who followed the Master Deep knew the secret of nourishment through pure consciousness. Let's apply some cold hard logic. Why in 325 did 30 sources of truth so greatly frighten the system? The answer is quite simple. These books offered the technology of personal sovereignty. In them, Jesus and his disciples explained that a human being is an autonomous energy station. If you know how to cleanse your body, if you know the code 369 and can connect with your higher self, you don't need an emperor, you don't need fear-based taxes, no samples and no army. A truly free person is death to the 3D matrix. The Empire needed a way to ground divine beings, to clip their wings, and to force them to work for the maintenance of its system. That is why living knowledge was cut apart. Its heart, the technologies of light, was discarded, and an empty doll for worship was sewn from its skin. The logic of this purge was brilliant and cruel. Instead of 30 detailed instructions on how to control reality, we were left with 4 edited stories. Why was this done? Firstly, to create a scarcity of information. When you have limited data, you begin to doubt and search for someone who can explain it to you. This is how priests and intermediaries emerged. Secondly, to shift attention from the internal to the external. Jesus taught to look within. The Matrix said, look at the cross, look at the icon, look at the emperor. Third, to block the body. They knew if you feed people starch and sugar, that very biological cement, their cells would become glued together and they would never truly experience the purity of 4D. This was a planned operation to turn masters of light into obedient slaves of the carbohydrate matrix. In the year 325, they created a vibrational prison. They removed from the Bible everything concerning energy work, bodily harmony, and purity of nutrition. They left only that which evokes feelings of guilt and fear. The logic was this: let them eat bread and potatoes, let their bodies be heavy and sick. Let them think that Jesus is an unattainable God and they are sinful slaves. This is how the system blocked our access to the portals of truth. But today, as we uncover these facts, we begin to cleanse ourselves from this sugar-starch captivity and return to those very 30 keys that make us equal to the Master. Let's tear off the masks of those who, in 325, decided to privatize the truth. Do you honestly believe they were stronger than us? Do you truly think they possessed some kind of divine right? Absolutely not. Just take a very close look at them now. These were people, mired in the sin of greed and diseases. They were fed and sick, both physically and spiritually. Their bodies were clogged with the same filth they had forced upon us. The only thing that truly set them apart was vast amounts of stolen gold and their status as powerful figures. They were terrified of losing their riches and their power to manipulate the masses. They lacked the inner strength of Jesus. They didn't possess his vibrations above 20,000. They were empty shells, and that's why they had to destroy 30 sources of living knowledge. Because next to someone who shines from within, their gold turns into mere trinkets. Have you ever wondered why those powerful men of that time so fiercely hated Jesus? Why they didn't just argue with him, but wanted his agonizing death on the cross? The answer was simple and terrifying for them. Jesus spoke the truth directly to their faces. He didn't mince words. He didn't fawn over their titles. He looked at these fat, gold-laden rulers and saw right through them. He saw their illnesses, their fears, and their low vibrations. He told them exactly who they truly were, parasites who had locked away the truth and were feeding the people nothing but lies. The Master of Masters had come not to insult or offend them, but rather to bring forth the light. But for those who had grown accustomed to dwelling in darkness and manipulating their slaves, light was nothing less than a death sentence. They felt utterly insignificant in his presence, even though he never once belittled them. His very purity was unbearable to them, like a searing burn. They chose the cross as a symbol of their intimidation. They wanted to show everyone, look, this is what will happen to anyone who dares to speak the truth and step out of line. But they made their gravest error. They simply didn't grasp who they were truly up against. Jesus wasn't afraid of the cross because he understood the physics of the 4-dimensional matrix. He knew that there is no such thing as death. He knew that the spirit cannot ever be crucified. His fearlessness in the face of death deprived rulers of their main weapon, fear. When a person is not afraid to die, they cannot be controlled. Jesus showed this to the entire world. He stood above their courts, above their legions, and above their gold. His aura was so incredibly powerful that even on the cross he remained a victor, while they were merely defeated cowards who had cowered behind the soldiers' backs. Jesus lived, and through his own example showed fear does not exist. It is merely a low-frequency program of the 3-dimensional matrix. He was not afraid of those who considered themselves the masters of life back then, and he is not afraid of them even now. And why is that? Because he possessed a technology that stands far above any weapon and any amount of gold. He knew how to control his biology at the level of light codes. For him, the transition was a conscious process of moving the body from one density to another. He came to show that death is not the end, but simply a shift in frequency if your body is pure and vibrates at a 4D level. Now, look at the reaction of those bloated, corrupt rulers. When it became clear that Jesus had risen, their system suffered a critical breakdown. Their main lie, their power over life and death, crumbled. They didn't just disbelieve, they were terrified. Evidence suggests they urgently started buying off witnesses and destroying all records of his post-execution appearances. They needed to convince the people, at any cost, that he was simply stolen or had disappeared. To this very day, the 3D matrix tells us that it was just a myth or a mere accident. Why? Because acknowledging the fact of a living Jesus means admitting that each of us can become an immortal master of our own body. Jesus lived because he was the greatest master on earth. He knew how to work with the energy of the ether, how to tune his organs, and how to reach the frequency 369, where matter obeys spirit. In 325 AD, they tried to finally bury this knowledge under tons of paper and church dogmas. They concocted a tale that he's not there, so you wouldn't seek him within your pure cells. But the truth is, the Master showed the way, through cleansing from sugary and starchy glue. Through 43 days of transformation, everyone can break free from this system's control. He didn't disappear. He was the first to open a portal to 4D, which we are only now beginning to enter. Let's face the truth. Those bloated rulers who crucified the Master thought they had won. Even today, they believe they rule the world through their banks, decrees, and sugar-coated traps. But look at them. They're trapped in their own bodies. They fear every virus. They age and tremble over their treasures. This isn't victory. It's a life sentence in the densest prison of the 3D matrix. They rule only in a world of shadows and fear. Their time is limited by their biological decay, which they cannot stop because their cells are bound by sugar, greed, and hatred. And now, look at Jesus. It was he who triumphed because his vibrations proved to be far stronger than their nails and their laws. Even after the crucifixion, he did not cease to exist. He demonstrated that the consciousness of a true master can continue to learn, to evolve, and to be present among us, even without a dense physical vessel. Indeed, he is right here among us, even now. His purity is the very air of the four-dimensional space that we now begin to breathe. He won because he became truly free, while they remained prisoners of their own selves. He taught us the most important lesson. When you cease to fear their instruments of control, their power crumbles into dust. So who truly won? The rulers who decay in their gold, or the Master of Masters whose light, 2000 years later, still unlocks the chains in our souls? The answer is obvious. Jesus lives because his truth of purity, harmony, and the divine code 369, it is alive. In the year 325, they attempted to seal this portal, but they were defeated. Today we choose the winner's side. We choose a pure body, high vibrations, and fearlessness. We are escaping the dominion of our fat and ailing masters and returning to the fount of everlasting power. Jesus showed the way, and this path is open to all who are ready to wash away sugary lies and awaken to a new reality. Have you ever wondered why, after 2000 years, the Church still shows Jesus on the cross, humiliated, bloody, and suffering? Engage your logic. This is being done specifically to embed an image of weakness in your consciousness. The 3D matrix system wants you to feel guilt and pity, because these emotions resonate at a very low frequency. As long as the Master is nailed to the tree in your imagination, you cannot perceive his true power. They try to subjugate him to their dogmas, imprisoning the greatest energy of the universe within a frame of suffering. But the truth is, the Master of Masters was never truly confined to a cross. He is everywhere. He is in the very air that you are breathing. He is in the vast space that lies between the atoms. He is in your very tissues, in every single pure cell of your body. He is the living universe itself. He is light. He is luminous. He is beyond the grasp of their three-dimensional tools. While they still kiss the cold wood, we must learn to feel his presence within our very own breath. Jesus does not sit on the cross. He pulsates with life's rhythm, teaching us to arise to a 4D level where there is no pain, only endless creation. The fat rulers of the past and present fear this living Jesus. They prefer a dead Jesus on the wall because he cannot speak and expose their lies. But the true Master has never abandoned us. He showed that the body can become light, and this light is now all around you. Stop searching for it in blood and torment. Begin to seek it in the purity of your own being, in the harmony of your core, in the code 369. When your vibrations rise above 20,000, you will see the cross is just a shadow and Jesus is the blinding sun of truth, warming us from within. Dear friends, I sincerely thank you for listening to this investigation until the very end, to gather these particles of truth for you, to open your eyes to the real state of affairs. I spent many sleepless nights. It was a tremendous task to sift through mountains of lies and uncover the clear facts that the three-dimensional matrix so carefully concealed from us. Everything I do is so that you finally awaken, so that you realize your true power and stop being held captive by carbohydrate chains and false dogmas. Your attention and your awakening are the greatest reward for my efforts. We are standing on the threshold of a time when these ancient truths are becoming our reality. By understanding the path of Jesus, not as a miracle, but as the result of conscious practice and purification, we unlock the door to our own transformation. Friends, seek truth not externally, but deep within your own pure temple. I thank you for having been with me today on this quest. May the light of knowledge illuminate your path and your heart feel the resonance of higher frequencies. Remember, you are capable of much more than the matrix dictates. Finally, a few words about me as the author of this research. I am a master healer, a guide into the 4D space. These insights I received directly from higher civilizations who guide and direct me in the search for accurate information. My path is to seek truth where it was intentionally lost or forgotten by humanity. My mission is to uncover the control programs established in the year 325 and restore to people their rightful power to govern their own biology and energy. I am here to help you see the world without the filters of fear and dense matter. We are bringing light back into ourselves and remembering who we truly are. I cannot leave you without a specific practical tool. So that your cells can truly hear the frequency of truth, they require purification. And the simplest, yet incredibly potent key is melted water. You must do this today. Simply pour water into a container and place it in your freezer. Let it freeze completely, then drink it as it thaws. What's the secret? Melted water resets all the bad energy of the 3D matrix. It changes its structure, becoming alive. Entering your body, this water begins to structure every one of your cells, washing out informational dirt and preparing your body to receive the 4D frequency. This is your very foundation of freedom. My friends, this is merely the first part of our significant investigation. For all those who truly wish to learn the complete truth, please be sure to watch the second, third, and fourth parts, which will be appearing on my channel in the very near future. In them, we will proceed to the most important part, the unmasking of the strongest book on earth. We'll examine how its laws were reshaped and used specifically to control humanity and keep it in line. I'll reveal how these texts distorted truth to conceal your real power from you. Don't miss it. This will be a complete expose of the Matrix's foundations. I thank you for walking this path with me to the very end. I dedicated an enormous amount of my time and spent dozens of sleepless nights studying this difficult, deeply hidden case. I did this not for fame, nor for recognition. I truly want you to hear me. My greatest reward is your awakening, for you to open your eyes, to realize your true power, and to break free from the control of these dead programs. This is why I exist. This is why I conduct all my investigations. Your enlightenment justifies every single one of my sleepless nights. Always yours, Mikhail Paduka.